Because of the mercurial changes of weather at the season's close, when summer might be replaced by winter in the space of 24 hours, most whaling captains normally started heading south from the Arctic by early September. Lulled by continued fine conditions and an abundance of bowhead whales, and mindful of the injunction given by all whaling ship owners to their captains, "You are not to omit taking a whale when you can," Captain Barker delayed his departure by a full month. He continued taking whales even as the autumn rime coated the shore, the true barometer of what was coming. Early in October, Barker finally turned his ship south. On October 4th, a heavy gale struck the Japan, and with it came the full, brutal change of season. In driving snow, with ice forming in the rigging, Barker and his crew attempted to work the ship through the fast-disappearing channel between the coast and the solidifying ice pack that the storm was hourly driving closer to shore. With the ice and the storm came snow squalls, and between the squalls the air was filled with a dense, disorienting fog. When even the roughly level plain of the sea beyond the decks became invisible, Barker's world was reduced to an icy, disorienting cloud. Without visual or celestial aids, his navigation exponentially veered toward guesswork as he aimed the Japan for the eye of a geographic needle, the 60-mile-wide Bering Strait, beyond which lay the open waters of the Bering Sea and the North Pacific. The benign season had also seduced other whaling captains into postponing their departure from the Arctic, and these ships were now sailing through this same storm. The new Bedford whale ship Elizabeth Swift wasn't far away. "This day blowing a terrible gale from the north," noted the Swift's log keeper on October 5th. Waves continually broke aboard the Swift, filling her with water, keeping her men laboring at her pumps. The oar-powered whaleboats carried in davits high above the decks were swept away. As the storm went on, the height of the waves and the force and weight of the water crashing aboard increased. On October 6th, a great wave smashed into the ship's side and stove our starboard bulwarks all to atoms. Sails blew to ribbons. Another New Bedford whale ship, the Seneca, was seen working heavily through the seas not far away. Neither ship knew their position with any certainty. "Don't know where we are," wrote the Swift's log keeper. "Very cold. So ends this day." On October 8th, the men aboard the Japan sighted another whale ship through the snow, the Massachusetts of New Bedford, also running south at speed. The Japan made signals to the other ship, hoping to stay in company with her, for Barker feared the Japan might not weather the storm. But the Massachusetts either didn't see the signals or could do little about them and disappeared into the spumy air. At the same time, the Champion of Martha's Vineyard lay about 60 miles to the north behind the Japan. She'd recently caught and cut up 4 whales, but there hadn't been time before the storm struck to boil the blubber from these into oil and stow the barrels below. Large chunks of whale meat and blubber, called horse pieces, 500 barrels worth, were now stored between decks, the space between the upper deck and the ship's hold. This constituted a danger almost as great as the storm, for such dead weight, 40 or 50 tons of it, sliding around with every roll and pitch, made the ship dangerously top-heavy, more likely than ever to slew around out of control before the wind and capsize. The Champion's captain, Henry Pease, later described the circumstances aboard his ship as it headed for the Bering Strait. "Ship covered with ice and oil. Could only muster 4 men in a watch. Decks flooded with water all the time. No fire to cook with or to warm by. Made it the most anxious and miserable time I ever experienced in all my sea service. During the night shipped a heavy sea which took off bow and waist boats, davits, slide boards, and everything attached, staving